Hello, 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 fun food fans. It is so great to be back here again with you, coming to you from my living room here in Tirana, Albania. My name is Karen Ricks, and I'm the head chef of Our Kitchen Classroom, and I want to welcome you back to this week's Q&A session. Yes, you are asking all sorts of great questions, and I am going to make sure that I jump on here every single day this week and answer those questions. We're going to get through as many as possible. So today, the three questions that I wanted to address are first about vegetarianism. The second was a breakfast question. And then the last question about the length of these videos. I am all bundled up again with my warm blanket and an even warmer cup of smoky lapsang souchong from Taiwan. What are you drinking? Leave me a note in the comments and let me know, what are you sipping on in this fun fall season? Oh, that smokiness is so warming and delicious. All right. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Karen Ricks, and I am the head chef here at ourkitchenclassroom.com, and I am on a mission to teach children of all ages how to celebrate life and how to really love learning. And here at Our Kitchen Classroom, we do that through food and world travel. So the other day, I shared a picture of something fresh and local and seasonal that we had for dinner. And, in all honesty, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that the plate that I pictured was vegetarian. But Jennifer asked, she said, I see all those pretty colors on your plate and it looks so nice. Are you a vegetarian? Well, the short answer is no. But we do as a family quite often eat vegetarian meals, even vegan meals. Now, we don't follow a specific or prescribed diet, but that's a conversation for another video. But yes, Jennifer, to answer your question, the meal that I showed the other day was actually a vegetarian meal. And yeah, that's something that we do on a pretty regular basis, not necessarily making a conscious effort to be vegetarian or not be vegetarian. As I mentioned in that particular post, which I shared both on our blog at ourkitchenclassroom.com as well as on various social media outlets, it was a high energy day outside the home, serving in our community. And so when it was time to pull together a meal for dinner, we were not necessarily thinking about what was fast or what was easiest, what was convenient, but what was fresh, what was vibrant, what would be satisfying without expending a lot more energy hanging out over a hot stove or a hot oven. Now, don't get me wrong, that is something that I absolutely love to do. But it's not something that I want to do every single day. I mean, who wants to do the same thing every single day? And just as our meals are varied, our schedules are varied as world schoolers moving all around the globe, our food preparation is varied as well. In fact, one of the things that I adore is reading vegetarian and even vegan recipes and cookbooks and blogs. Again, not because I'm trying to pursue a vegetarian or a vegan lifestyle. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I encourage people who feel drawn to do so to do so. But what I love is gaining a fresh perspective on a variety of different fruits and vegetables, nuts and grains, and things that we often prepare, but maybe kind of get into a rut of doing the same way, always the same combinations, the same seasonings, the same cooking preparations, the same pairings. And just like we want to be encouraged and inspired to try something new, sometimes getting a fresh perspective on that really helps. And so I love reading about the ways that vegetarians and vegans really enjoy preparing the foods that they eat on a regular basis, because it gives me the opportunity to say, oh, I never thought about doing something like that. Or, oh, that would be really good too. And as a family of omnivores, if we decide that we're going to have some sort of a meat-based protein with that, we can always add that as well. But I love the fresh perspective that vegetarian and vegan recipes and cookbooks and blogs provide. And we will often incorporate things that we learn from a variety of different dietary lifestyles into the foods that we prepare here in our kitchen classroom. So thanks for that question. Now, the next question actually came from Celia. And Celia says, what do you normally eat for breakfast? Well, again, just like whether feeding an omnivore type meal, vegetarian, vegan, whatever the case may be, the foods that we eat first thing in the morning are also pretty varied. And that variation can shift pretty widely depending on where we are in the world. You know, one of the things that was so exciting about the 10 years that we lived in central Japan was the massive and drastic shift that happened in our diets around that time. You know, I remember shortly upon arriving in Japan and getting a chance to wander up and down the aisles of the nearest supermarket. And that was one of the first times that I was really conscious about the large quantities of 20-kilo bags of rice. And I remember the first couple of times I looked at those and thinking, wow, oh my goodness, a year's supply of rice? 2 years, maybe 5 years. Because of course, growing up in the United States, rice was not as prominent a part of our daily diet as it definitely became after we moved to Japan. So, for example, during that time that we lived and worked in Japan, rice was a staple of our diet. And that 20-kilo bag of rice that I would have initially thought could have lasted for years was actually maybe only a month's supply. So we would often have lots of rice, breakfast, lunch, dinners, snack times. In fact, every household and even at our school and regular, just like restaurants, we had a big rice cooker that had a prominent place out on the kitchen counters all the time that we used literally on a daily basis. But it was completely different from the time that we spent in Mexico last year, where tortillas were definitely the staple of our diet. In fact, the entire first month, I believe, that we spent in Mexico last summer, we had not just any tortillas, but freshly made corn tortillas de maíz, and that was every single day. Again, sometimes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So again, those staples change on a regular basis. During our time in Italy, it wasn't just pasta, although pasta did make a daily appearance at our table, sometimes twice a day. But during my time at the cooking school in Sicily, the sourdough preparations that we made were definitely a prominent part of our daily diet. And we had many mornings that featured freshly baked sourdough breads. And that was amazing with, a combination of toppings, some of the fresh cheeses and honeys and the jams that we prepared from the various fruits in the orchard. Oh, absolutely delicious. But one of the staples, and I think this goes to your question, is eggs. And that's a protein source that is readily sourced, especially locally here now in Albania, from just about everywhere we've been in the world. We have had a pretty easy time getting eggs. In fact, during our time on the farm in Australia, we even had a big flock of free-range chickens. And those chickens provided some fresh eggs on a daily basis too. Those were delicious and huge too. Oh my goodness. The size comparison between the large supermarket eggs and the freshly laid eggs, not even a comparison at all. But yes, eggs make a regular showing on our table here in our household on a pretty regular basis. And one of the things that our little Sue and I actually just recorded another video. He was so excited to share a special preparation that he made of eggs the other day. So I will be uploading that to our YouTube channel shortly. You can keep an eye out for that. But just like some of the different grains, base staples of our diet change from one region to another, the preparation of those eggs also changes. And that's something that helps to make very familiar and comforting meals also adapt very easily to the regions, to the cultures, to whatever ingredients we happen to have available wherever we are in the world. Now, the question was really about breakfast, but more often you will hear us refer to it as brunch. And that actually takes us into the last question, which was about the length of these videos. Jane asks, why are your videos so long? Can't you just do something short that's like maybe 5 minutes? Because sometimes I don't have time to watch a video that's 10, 15, 20 minutes long. Well, I appreciate that feedback, Jane, and I recognize that your time is valuable. And so when you have taken the time to watch some of these longer videos, I want to say thank you. I really do appreciate you taking the time to sit back with us and learn along with us. We are learning and so much as we travel the globe. And sometimes I feel like the videos, I could go on for an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours. There is so much that we could possibly share. But another really important thing about the work that we are doing here in our kitchen classroom is about being deliberate and taking the time that we need to take in order to do what we need to do. Now, as a chef, I have a pretty impassioned response to this cooking trend that you'll see across things like the Food Network and recipes and cookbooks galore about 30 minutes or less and super fast mealtime preparations. And don't get me wrong, there are times when I really want to prepare things super quickly. But more and more often, I notice that as people ask me for something faster, it's not because there isn't time to take a little longer in the preparation. What I'm really hearing is it going to be worth the time that I'm going to spend? And that actually brings me to a question that another Jane asked when I shared a beautiful picture of a tart that we had so much fun playing with over the summer. It was an array of yellow and white peaches that we took time to arrange in a pie shell. And the very first question she asked was, how long did that take? And I had to give an honest answer. You know what? I don't know, because I wasn't looking at the clock. I think all too often, we approach the preparation of meals, even important lessons, with this idea that it must last a certain amount of time and no more, because anything more is really a waste of time. And I think that's an unfortunate approach, because when we set a specific time limit, I think we're really also limiting the value that we expect to get from the process. Whereas when we throw ourselves wholeheartedly into fully and deliberately experiencing everything that this process really has to offer us, we'll often find out that it is well worth any extended length of time that we have to put into it. And it's one of the reasons that I am so passionate about sharing slow food techniques and homemade from scratch preparations, things that we do on a regular basis, not just me, but my entire family, including our 7-year-old Sue. It's the foundation for all of the recipes and the stories and the preparations that I share in my latest book, The Ultimate Guide to Cooking with Children, which is a collection of dishes and stories that were prepared with children ages 6 and under from our international Montessori school in Japan. So I know that it is possible to prepare meals with little hands helping out in a reasonable amount of time and still learn so much from the process. And so you'll often find that I'm not going to preface something by saying this should only take 30 minutes, or maybe you want to allot 45 minutes to be able to do this. In fact, what I will tell you is the opposite. If you think that it would take you about 45 minutes to do it by yourself, I'm going to encourage you to allot twice as much. In fact, maybe 3 times as much time in that preparation, that recipe, that process with your family, with your children, because I don't want you to put a limit on what you can learn, what you can all glean, what you can enjoy when you fully and deliberately dive into the process. It is so much fun and there is so much to learn. And if you are ready to really be deliberate and take the time to learn how to do that, I want to invite you to join us for this fall's fun family food workshop. I will walk you step by step through those recipes, through the processes that I have used over years of preparing these dishes with literally dozens of children at a time, ages 6 and under. And I know if I can do that with a large group of young children, you can do that in your kitchen classroom with children of all ages. And I promise you, the meals that you will prepare together, the memories that you will make in those meals, it is absolutely magical. And there's no way you would want to put a time limit on that. It is so much fun. All right, I'm going to leave a link in the comments here for this video so that you can join us. And it is going to be absolutely spectacular. We get started next week, so don't delay in signing up right away. We're going to have such a blast. I can't wait to have you a part of it. We're going to continue this Q&A session for the remainder of this week. So if you've got more questions, I've got more answers for you. Leave your questions in the comments, and I look forward to being back here tomorrow so we can answer more of them for you and share all of this juicy deliciousness coming out of our kitchen classroom to you in your kitchen classroom, wherever in the world that might be. You have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you again tomorrow.